That was nail biting. Brenny was a bit shook up, but I can assure you he's okay now. This video is not a sales video. This is a Brenny reacting to a comment from a mega YouTuber who seems to have it in for Brenny. He does. Why is somebody with over 1.5 million subscribers picking on the little guy? Who knows? Maybe he's a little bit upset with Brenny, but he chose to come after Brenny, so Brenny has no other choice but to fight back. On a creator's wall, you post things, and on my wall, I like to post new stuff without boring people with long drawn out money crash grabbing videos. Artem just brought out some summer straps, and they're doing an offer, a promotion where you get one free, buy two, get a third free, and as they're £57, I thought that's a good offer. So I posted it, and the normal reaction is, thanks Brenny, but no, not on that day. Mr. Nico Leonard, little Nico, decided to have a pop at Brenny. He wrote £57 for a nylon strap. Cry, cry, scam! He called Artem scammers. I'm not going to take that lying down. But how can Brenny come back at these horrible YouTubers who put videos out half the time they don't put paid up, or they put paid a couple of weeks after just to be PC? And then them videos, they are plugging this stuff for money. They all have agents. If you don't know that, wake the hell up. Right, so let me think. Nico is good friends with Adrian. Well, they're pally, aren't they? And Nico doesn't sell nylon straps, but Adrian does. And I thought, let's have a look at one of Adrian's. And I went one stage further. I bought one. I bought a Bark and Jack No Time to Die strap. And as I already have an Artem No Time to Die strap and an Omega No Time to Die strap, I'm going to do a review on all three, and just let me tell you, you get what you pay for, because this strap is very close to garbage. It's £28. You can have two of these for the price of this, and I would rather have this than this any day. And when you consider we are putting these straps on very expensive watches, why go cheap when you can get quality for a third of the price of an Omega? Do you want to know the difference between this strap and this strap? It's polyamide versus seatbelt nylon. Seatbelt nylon can be made of anything, where polyamide is a specific quality of strap, and it's the same material that Omega uses. So you're getting a quality product with a quality feel at a third of the price of Omega. I hope you're watching, Nico Leonard. Before we get into a deep dive on all three straps, let me tell you two things about this strap that is a complete turn off for Brenny. First, it's the hardware locations. The spacing of the hardware on this strap, it's just too tight. They don't give you enough room for the watch compared to the Artem or even the Omega. The spacing on the hardware on the Artem is exactly the same as the Omega. Second thing, because of the spacing of the hardware, when the watch is on your wrist on the Bark and Jack, the buckle is right the way over on the corner, which to me is a dead no. And if I hadn't done what I did to this strap during the testing process, I would have returned it. I don't think it's fair on Bark and Jack to return a strap that I've been messing with. So I will just swallow the cost of this strap and I will get on with my life. If you're interested in an honest review, keep watching, guys. If you'd like a clue to expect which one was the outright winner at the end of this video, let me just do this. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy this video. I did have to pay £4 postage, but the package arrived within 2 working days. You get a thank you note from Adrian, and the strap comes in its own handy little pouch. I was a little bit shocked how the strap was shoved in the bag, but luckily for me, my order arrived undamaged. This is the Omega No Time to Die strap. This is the Bark and Jack No Time to Die strap. And this is the Artem No Time to Die strap. What's noticeable for me is the positioning of the hardware on the Barker and Jack strap and the shortness of the hardware from the pin buckle to the strap. It doesn't leave a lot of room for the actual watch, guys. This is a 22mm, this is a 22mm, and this is a 20mm, and yet Omega and Artem leaves you plenty of room for your watch. Just imagine you buy a watch, you place it on the strap, and there isn't enough room. You would have to assume that this is something that Bark and Jack has researched, but as you can clearly see, it's a very tight space on that Barker and Jack strap. If you were to get, let's say, a Panerai, you might struggle fitting it onto the strap. We're now checking pin buckles to keep everything fair. I have used an Omega 22mm strap. That is the Artem, that's the Omega, and that's the B&J. Honestly, guys, the B&J is just too big. It's too chunky, if you ask me. Artem have gone with a carbon copy of the Omega, and it was a good decision, guys. The Artem's hardware is polished, same as the Omega, whereas the Bark and Jack is brushed. They might say that is in keeping with the titanium No Time to Die original, but I don't think so, guys. I'm going to assume that all of the Bark and Jack hardware is brushed. Just to keep everything fair, this is £28, this is £57, and this is a whopping £170. You can get 2 of these for the price of 1 of these, and you can get 3 of these for the price of 1 of these. But just be aware, guys, that this strap, this B&J strap, is made out of seat belt material. Google it. These two are made out of polyamide, which is a better quality material. Again, Google polyamide. It is a fact that Artem went with a product that is exactly the same as the Omega, and B&J has gone with a slightly cheaper product. You get what you pay for, guys. Are you really going to put your 4,000, 5,000 luxury wristwatch on a seatbelt strap? Well, hey, whatever rocks your boat. What Brenny's going to do is Brenny is going to go with the Artem every time. When I was comparing the buckles, I noticed that the Bark and Jack was extremely large, and it is unfair on the Bark and Jack to compare it to this No Time to Die strap, because Omega only makes this strap in a 20mm lug width, where this Barker and Jack is for a 21 to 22mm lug width, same as my Artem, which is also a 21 to 22mm lug width. So I dug out a standard Omega pin buckle strap, which is also a 21 to 22mm lug width strap, to compare the three, and you can clearly see that the Omega and Artem are identical, whereas the Bark and Jack is still oversized. If I was choosing it just on the size of the pin buckle, the winner would be the Artem or the Omega, but definitely not the Barker and Jack. For those of you with a keen eye, you can see that the Omega logo has been stamped central, so has the Artem, and so has the Barker and Jack. But my particular Omega No Time to Die strap that costs a whopping £330 sterling has been stamped too high and has been missed through their quality control processes. Do I speak or do I watch? Do I play sexy music But then again, what's sexy about putting a watch head on a strap? Absolutely nothing. Done it a gazillion times. I'm just going to show you what the watch looks like on this strap. This watch is a 21mm lug width, and this strap is designed for a 21 to 22mm lug width. A little trick to get a strap on is you start it in advance, and it makes it a lot easier to get it on the wrist. And again, what more can I say about the strap that hasn't already been said a gazillion times? But look at how it's fitting on the wrist. It looks like it is made for the watch. It may not be the right color palette, but look at where the buckle is sitting, almost dead center on the opposite side. I'm not a fan of the distance between the hardware, guys. I really think it should have been half an inch further apart. If you had a slightly larger watch, it's going to cause you a problem. I'm not sure how this hasn't been picked up. I can't be the only one to have highlighted this. Maybe it's because I paid for this strap myself and you're getting an honest opinion of the strap. It looks okay and the watch does fit on there. There is no denying it. Again, start the loop before you put it on the wrist, and it feels a little bit rougher. This is the first time I've ever worn the strap, and you can even see on camera it is a lot stiffer. A hell of a lot stiffer, guys. I'm not sure if I want to wear this strap all day long. And then you're about to see a major design flaw with the positioning of the hardware. Look how far down the buckle is. Jesus Christ, Adrian. Jesus. The strap at first glance looks okay, and then you turn your wrist over and you can see the Barker and Jack logo. It's in the right place. These are all in the right place, but for some reason the buckle is a mile away from center on my 6 3/4 inch wrist. I have not had this problem with other straps, maybe because I've only ever had Omega and Artem, but this just doesn't stand with Brenny. This to me is just not acceptable. If I bring it up to camera again and I turn my wrist, you can see that the buckle is in a better position than the Barker and Jack. Obviously, it's something that only gets highlighted when somebody goes to the trouble to compare the two, but you can clearly see that Artem have gone to a little bit more trouble to position their hardware in the correct place so that when the strap is on the wrist, a 6 3/4 inch wrist, everything is sitting in the right place. You can see that the Artem positioning of the hardware is a longer distance. The Barker and Jack is shorter in its positioning, which is causing the buckle to sit in an awkward position on the other side of the wrist. It is easily highlighted in this video, and I hope the other 2 videos explain the problem with this strap. There is absolutely no way I would accept this from any strap. You can see in this comparison that the hardware for the Omega and the Artem are almost identical, whereas the B and J are completely different positions, even though all 3 straps are the same length. I don't know what to say, guys, but this strap is from Omega. It has all titanium fittings, and it is not actually meant for a watch of this size, as it is only a 20mm lug width. But to keep everything fair, I had to put it in the video. I would like to point out that this strap currently sells for a whopping £330. Well, what can you do? The watch now sells for a whopping £9,500. Whatever next. One of these days, you might have to spend £9,000 on a Christopher Ward watch. Stranger things have happened, guys. The last thing on this strap, even though this is the original, it's actually the least likable colour. It just doesn't look as good as the B&J or the Artem. The Artem, to me, is the winning colour combination. With the Artem, the finish is exquisite. The hole punches are centered and the lines are equidistant. The finishing of the hardware is second to none. The stitching is exquisite, as good if not better than Omega. The buckle is of a high quality material and you can swap the buckle around if you so desired. What they're saying is you could have this with any brand if you chose a different buckle to blend in the strap. There is nothing wrong with the Artem strap, and this one is a used Artem strap. You can see that I've used it in the past and it is still like new. No frays, no tears, nothing. An absolute fantastic product. Up close, the Barker and Jack looks no different to any other strap. However, it feels a lot rougher to the touch. It basically doesn't feel silky smooth. I can't imagine wearing this all day and finding it comfortable. I'm also not a fan of the brush hardware, and the buckle, in my opinion, is oversized. And with the strap fitting so oddly on the wrist, the location of the buckle, this strap is an absolute no as far as I'm concerned. I'm about to do something creative. You never get the same old shtick on the Brenny show. That is raw bleach. I've always wanted to test a strap to see whether bleach would affect the colour, and I am pleased to report it had zero effect on both straps. The Artem and the B&J strap survived without a mark on them. The Barker and Jack is at the top and the Artem is at the bottom. I washed them both under lukewarm water and they both remain unaffected by raw bleach. In this next test, I'm going to see which one is stronger, the B&J versus the Artem. Imagine you're on holiday, you've got your luxury wristwatch on, and all that's keeping the watch from coming off your wrist is a pin buckle. I'm going to put the Barker and Jack on this side, and I'm going to put the Artem on this side. I'm going to attempt to hang on both of these straps, and hopefully they will take my weight. I'm going to hold on for as long as possible, or until one of them breaks. I hope they don't break for my sake, but I'm willing to test these just so you don't have to. Ooh, it's starting to numb up now. Their boat seems to be holding on. It's a bit uncomfortable, to be honest. A bit stressful on the jeez. Oh, Jesus Christ. It looks like the B&J hasn't held on. Let's bring the camera over now to see what's the victorious one. There you go, guys. You can't argue with that. The Artem is still in place. Still pretty strong. And the Barker and Jack just didn't hold on, guys. Obviously it just couldn't take the strain. I've assembled all 4 straps to sum this video up. £28, £57, £330 and £170. If you want the honest truth, go for the Artem. It is a third of the price of an Omega and exactly the same. Artem have made a point of copying the Omega to perfection. The B&J strap, you get what you pay for, guys. It's 28 quid. I am not a fan of the feel of the strap. These straps feel like silk to the touch. This feels like exactly what it is, a seat belt strap made of seat belt material, not polyamide. Last but not least, this strap, if I wasn't about to do some amazing things with it, would be getting returned to Barker & Jack because it's not fit for purpose. The positioning of the hardware means that on the wrist, the buckle is sitting too far across. It's something I would never accept, and I would 100% advise anybody who purchases this strap, finds they've got the same problem, to take my advice, send that one back and order yourself an Artem strap instead. It's a no-brainer, guys. It's an absolute no-brainer.